Picture this: you see a trailer, hear a few notes of familiar soundtrack, and suddenly you're 10 years old again. That warm rush of memory, that I know this feeling, that's nostalgia. In gaming, nostalgia isn't just a marketing tactic, it's a design force, a psychological trigger, and lately a survival tool. Every year we see it: remakes, remasters, legacy modes, crossovers. For example, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom leans heavily on Ocarina of Time lore. Resident Evil 4 Remake reintroduces classic mechanics with modern polish, while Street Fighter 6 brings back classic stages and modes. In 2025, nostalgia isn't fading, it's accelerating. So what gives nostalgia its power? Why do we play a new game built on an old name and feel more emotionally invested? Well, in this video, we'll break down the mechanics of nostalgia, how studios weaponize it, the risks, and how creators can use it responsibly to make games that feel fresh and familiar. Psychology of nostalgia. Nostalgia is a blend of emotion, memory, and meaning. Psychologists define it as wistful longing for the past, but it's more than wistful. In games, it taps into identity reinforcement. The games you played in your late teens, early 20s often become part of your emotional DNA. So hearing a melody, seeing an art style, those triggers unlock memory and emotional reward. Neurologically, nostalgia spikes dopamine and oxytocin. It gives a warm glow that feels rewarding not just because the memory is good, but because it's your memory. In modern game design, nostalgia acts like a free boost. Players are already predisposed to feel affinity, so it lowers friction. And when you combine that emotional boost with modern systems, you get a potent mix, familiar but elevated. Furthermore, nostalgia also works as a mental shortcut. When a franchise reappears, players know part of the rules and symbols. That reduces cognitive load for onboarding. You don't need as much tutorial space. You can lean on emotional memory rather than explaining every system from scratch. And this is one reason legacy franchises get stronger opening weeks even if the game isn't perfect. How nostalgia drives product strategy. Look at how studios build legacy IP reboots, remasters, definitive editions, anniversary editions, and nostalgia packs like skins and music reworks. These kind of releases cost less than entirely new IPs, yet generate strong initial sales. In 2024 to 2025, we saw Final Fantasy Rebirth break records, while classic Square Enix titles frequently appear in subscription libraries, hooking new players through legacy content. Moreover, subscription services and libraries amplify nostalgia. Microsoft's Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, and Nintendo Switch Online all lean heavily on backwards compatibility and retro expansions. If you played earlier entries, you're more likely to subscribe to experience remasters, side entries, or legacy DLC. It turns your past investments as a player into a continuing revenue cycle. Furthermore, nostalgia also influences marketing and discoverability. Trailers open with lines from original voice actors or iconic audios. Social media revives all memes. Twitch and YouTube creators play original versus remakes side by side. These strategies hook both veterans and curious newcomers. In 2025, the marketing playbook for many big-budget games still begins with "Remember when?" because it works. When nostalgia works and when it backfires. When nostalgia works, it feels like coming home, not because everything is the same, but because what's familiar has evolved with you. Take Resident Evil 4 Remake. Capcom didn't just rebuild an old favorite, they reimagined it with smarter AI, tighter pacing, and cinematic storytelling while preserving its iconic tension and campy tone. The result wasn't just a nostalgia hit, it was one of the best selling and highest rated remakes of all time. Similarly, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in 2024 proved that players crave reinterpretation, not repetition. By expanding its universe and recontextualizing moments fans already loved, it transformed nostalgia into surprise, an emotional echo of the past that still felt new. But nostalgia can backfire when studios forget what made the original special. The Last of Us Part 1 remake sparked debate over value. Players questioned paying full price for a remaster so soon after the original success. Fast forward to 2025 and we're seeing similar skepticism towards remakes of remakes, as some fans call them. Bluebird team's Silent Hill 2 remake has been under scrutiny for changing the camera perspective and lighting, potentially breaking the atmosphere that makes the original haunting. When nostalgia is used as a shortcut for easy sales rather than thoughtful reinvention, players sense the cynicism immediately. The sweet spot lies in modernization without betrayal. Games like Metroid Prime Remastered and Persona 3 Reload exemplify this balance. They preserve mechanics that define identity while updating visuals, controls, and accessibility for a new generation. Nostalgia should act as a bridge, not a barrier. It connects eras and reminds players why they fell in love with games in the first place. But when misused, it exposes just how fragile their love can be. So the best nostalgia games don't just replay your memories, they help you make new ones. The risks and ethical line. The biggest risk is creative stagnation. If studios lean too heavily on nostalgia, they may stop exploring new ideas. And over time, even legacy fans will get bored. The market may become a nostalgia echo chamber, sequel after remake after spin off, with less space for fresh voices. Another risk is the exclusion of new audiences. If you assume players must know the old to enjoy the new, you alienate newcomers. That can limit market reach. Nostalgia can feel like insider club membership if not handled properly. There's also the danger of exploitation. When nostalgia becomes a revenue play rather than souls-based respect, fans might feel manipulated. DLC rehashes, overpriced remasters, minimal effort. These raise questions of value and ethics. And for that case, the developers must balance emotional resonance with substantive design. How to harness nostalgia responsibly. The developers should use nostalgia as seasoning, not the main course. Let the emotional memory open the door, then surprise players with new systems, twists, or narrative shifts. Nostalgia should give permission to explore, not lock the game in repetition. Moreover, they should make the games accessible to newcomers. Use legacy callbacks without requiring prior knowledge. They should provide lore, optional content, onboarding so new players don't feel lost. Furthermore, they should iterate and test. Use their telemetry and player feedback to see whether nostalgic features delight or slow down engagement. If a callback is dragging pace or alienating new players, be ready to adjust. Developers should use nostalgia intentionally, not reflexively. Nostalgia is powerful because it taps into who we were, not just what we played. It's a bridge between memory and new experience. And when wielded thoughtfully, it can make games resonate deeply. But it's not a crutch. Strongest games will use nostalgia to launch you forward, not chain you backward. But what's your opinion on all this? Which game's remake or reboot gave you that I'm back feeling? Let's talk in the comments down below. And hey, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to watch more videos like this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay silver.